Umwelt, the world around, is nature, the mirror of the self. You ain't going to have a self unless nature's factored in. Mitwelt is the toxic thing that underlies everything we're talking about. Culture that's been poisoned, culture that's been made necrophilous. Now the ego attaches to the norms and standards of the Mitwelt, and the Eigenwelt is flooded with poison. Eigen being self, I. Absolutely drastic consequences. But this is explaining the existential crisis. So the situation then for the ego means that there has to be total incarceration in the village or the Mitwelt, which is already poisoned. And the women of the world, not everyone, but the ones we're talking about, the radicals, they are acculturated to that village. They love it. They're okay. They're never going to leave of their own free will. They lost the fight to the terrible mother, and it just degenerated from there. Her will was supreme. And her will mutilated that girl's vision of the male world and the masculine. So she's spinning out of control right from the Oedipal levels on. How the hell are you going to tell me that somebody that's that off kilter and so mutilated is now going to have authentic spiritual experiences? They'll have the 99-cent thing you just saw, that obscenity, that makeover. How is she going to identify with the will of a male child should she give birth to one? Won't she just continue the process of crushing that child's will? Won't she mess up her own daughter's life? Won't she prefer homosexualized men and these gender fluid men? Won't she be an advocate of the pronoun controversy? I mean, how did this world that surrounds you now come to be if it's not from all of these things we're talking about? Would it have come to be in a male-dominated society? Right? So the urbanization, right, of the Mitwelt, the toxic Mitwelt, means the negation of nature. Kids are just no longer allowed to go into nature in a healthy way, to look at light, to look at the elements, or any of it. Because boys have been ultra-feminized by the minute. But the fact of the matter is, it's an eternal law of the Geist that Umwelt was created by spirit to be the mirror of the self. You will not and you cannot change that. You can live in your Blake 7 fucking dome and sniff the fucking polluted air and all the suppressants, but you're never going to change the facts. And if the Umwelt is negated, there can be no self. But let's go back to an early critical point. Next slide, please, David. The necrophilous female doesn't love women or their causes. You got to wake up from the hex. It's a cunning ploy disguising their pathology. The deification of everything female and feminine serves as an erotic woman's defense against the truth of the matter, her defeat during the dragon fight, and her deep-set matrophobia. There's millions of psychologists out there, millions of life coaches, some of them broadcasting to the whole wide world. And you'll never hear them touch on this. And yet it's actually really basic. It's actually everything we've talked about here is so basic, actually. But you won't hear a word out of these people, these highly funded people, about the real crisis that's going on. But one look at how females are acting and thinking today is enough to horrify any sane person, right? They're perfectly acculturated to the abnormal society. Their obsession with the cosmetics, the fashion, the triviality, the spending, the gossiping. It's all there for you to see with clear eyes.